Hi guys, welcome to my review of Suqiya E550 amplifier. Before we will begin, as usual, the store links in the video description, my test system setup details also in the video description. So, the first question is, what exactly is that? This is a stereo integrated amplifier built on C3850 preamplifier and E550 power amplifier, both designs based on Accuphase devices. The regular price for this amplifier is something like $1,050, shipping included. But watch for sale and early coupons, and you'll be able to lower that to roughly $100. Depending on the coupon you'll be able to get. So according to specs, this is class AB amplifier, though it's also class A up to 30 watts into 8 ohms, and it's specified to be able to output 200 watts per channel into 8 ohms, and for 4 ohms that almost doubles, reaching 380 watts per channel. Now, talking about the specs, the THD is specified as 0.06% for 4 ohms, and that drops down to 0.02% for 8 ohms. IMD is specified to be lower than 0.01%, and that's nice. The frequency response is anything between 20 Hz and 20 kHz, and that's specified for 0.2 decibel fall. For regular 3 decibel fall, it's anything between 10 Hz and 100 kHz. The interesting number is damping factor for this amplifier, because it's specified as 480. That's quite a lot. Signal to noise ratio is specified as 125 decibels, and that drops down once you'll engage the tone controls circuit, and that drops down to 118 decibels. Now, before we'll talk about the build, let me tell you that this is already powered on, so the power on sequence looks and sounds like that. And about now, it's we've heard the relays engaging. That's how the input selection operates, and that's the sound it makes. It's not a digital encoder, so it has strict limits here and here, and the volume control is that quiet. It's controlled by very nice full aluminum remote that works like that. You can't hear it, but you can probably see the volume pot moving right now. Okay, so let's power that off and let's talk about the build. The first thing that you'll notice in front are two VU meters. I will show you how they work a little bit later on. You can also see the treble controls, mid-range controls, and the bass controls that can be bypassed with direct button. We also have a button for muting the inputs, and we have balance control. Interestingly, the balance control has marked the middle position, so you cannot hear that, but that's something that I can feel when I'm moving this control, that it stays in the middle. These guys do not have anything like that, so you just have to set it to 0 and hope that 0 means 0. We have IR control here, and we have very beautiful finish on the front plate. This is very thick. It's brushed aluminum painted in gold, and it actually consists of 3 parts with different finishes. That one, this segment, is made from brushed aluminum. The lower part here is made also from aluminum, but it's dot marked, And this part in the middle, the frame around the controls, is also brushed aluminum, but this is something separate that's been screwed from the inside, as we will see in a second. So give me a moment to unplug the power and we'll take a look at the back. So the power will be necessary a little bit later when I'll be showing you how the view meters work, but for now let's take a look at the sides. Nothing to see. Let's take a look at the top, and we have a load of venting holes here. It's very nice. And let's take a look at the back. In the back we have a couple of things. We have two sets of balanced inputs. Interestingly, the specification says that the first one is for the 4 volts XLR specification, and the second one is for 2 volts XLR specification that's being used in Asia. The thing is that I've checked them, and to my ears there's completely no difference. I mean, I've connected my gas start XLR output, one channel here, the second channel here, and I've made my track converted to mono, and then I was switching the channels, the inputs, and the volume stayed exactly the same. So I don't really think that there is a difference. But both of them are perfectly fine for using your balanced connection from your digital to analog converter. And I'm really happy to have 2 sets. Then we have 4 sets of RCA inputs. That totals for the 6 inputs, and I'm mentioning that because that's a lot. Most of the amplifiers, the integrated amplifiers that I've been reviewing so far, have at top 4 inputs, and this one has 6 of them. And we have 2 sets of the, sorry about that, we have 2 sets of speaker outputs, this marked as set A and set B. There is no output selector on the front plate, as you've seen, and both of them are active at the same time, which is quite cool if you're using B-wiring or you'd like to use 2 pairs of speakers, although that's not maybe the best option here. But I was using this for B-wiring my speakers during test. We also have a power connector here with integrated fuse compartment, and we have interesting typo here. Yeah, Spescos, whatever. So let's take a look inside. The top plate is held by a set of screws. We have 3 here, 1 more, and the second. Oh, I forgot about that one. Give me a second, I need to unscrew that. Yes, I actually forgot about all 3 here. So we have 3 in the front, 3 in the back. We have 4 at the top, 2 here and 2 in the front. And we have 3 here and another 3 here. So that's quite a lot in total. And they are holding top plate nicely. It's and yeah, one more. Yes, one more. Yep, that one. Yeah, they are very small, they're black, and it's kind of hard to notice all of them. Yeah. Should be doing that on pause probably. Yeah. That was the last one. So, the top plate isn't as thick as in other clone amplifiers. It's about 1 millimeter thick, but it's thicker and better than in the, I'd say, 90% of European brands. So let's put it away and let's take a look inside. Yeah. You've seen most of that in my first look video, but let's talk about what we can see inside. We have 2 transformers for left and right channel, and these are specified for 650 watts each. There are no stickers on them, but the specification that's given in the offer says that Each one of them is specified for 650 watts output. We have a radiator with cooling fins in the middle of the amplifier, and you may be able to see that we have venting holes underneath this heatsink, and also venting holes on top of it in the top plate, so we have a nice flow of air through the cooling fins. So it doesn't really matter that it's inside, if you would be wondering why it's not on the sides, but it really does have a nice airflow here. We can see the transistor pairs here. Let's zoom in. Yeah, those guys. Yep. And we have capacitor banks here, and capacitors are enough for audio. Each one of them is specified for 10,000 microfarads, and we have 12 of them, meaning that we have 60,000 microfarads per channel. Let's rotate that, and let's take a look at the board. We have rectifiers here, we have Omron relays for controlling the speaker output, we have preamplifier board. You've seen that in the detail in my first look video, so let's zoom for a second here. We have a ALPC, ALPS, Japanese volume control, motorized volume control. Here's the motor for the pod. All the connections carrying audio signals are made with these industrial connectors, which is quite handy in case you would be needing to disassemble this, because it's very easy just to unplug and remove everything. What else interesting do we have here? I think those guys are LNAS. Yeah, those capacitors. These guys are SAMWAS. I've already told you that these are LNA, and you can see the RCA input board with control relays, and we have XLR input board with relay controls here. This one is interesting, as you've seen in my first look video. Probably the manufacturer didn't account for the size of the connector, because the pins needed to be bent in order to accommodate the plug like that. Yeah, but it happens. Doesn't really matter. It happens. What else? Over there in the bottom we have tone controls board. Tone control board uses one operational amplifier, an E550, which I don't really like, but I'll tell you about that later. And we have VU meters board with a lot of LEDs mounted here, and they give very nice, very uniform backlight. Yeah, let's rotate that and take a look at the... Yeah, it's there. That's the operational amplifier for the tone controls. I'm not sure if I'll be able to zoom in with... Yeah, that's the guy. So I would really like to see some kind of D-plate socket here, and I'd like to be able to replace that with something better, and that would be my plan for modding this tone control board. We also have a board for the input selector and power on-off button here, and we have a DC block circuit here. Interestingly, let's take a look here. We have a voltage selector inside. It's not placed on the outside of the chassis, but it's in the inside, so you are able to change the voltage on your own, but you need to open the amplifier. Yeah, what else about the build? I've told you about the remote, I've told you about the ALPS volume pot, about LNA caps, about speaker sets, trafos. Yeah, there's one more thing. This little guy is using Toshiba 1257 IC for speaker output protection. And one more thing. The specification says that all resistors used in the amplifier, like those guys here, are Taiwan mu metal film resistors with 0.5% accuracy. So if that's true, that's excellent. If these are really 0.5% accuracy resistors, that's excellent news. Now, I'll connect that again. One more thing that you haven't been able to see, and you probably won't be able to see. The amplifier uses very nice gold legs. They are also anti-vibration fit, and they have a kind of soft foam on the lower part. So give me a second, I'll pause the video and I will close the amplifier and we will talk about the sound quality. Okay, so we're back. It's closed. I've also connected small audio source with so small portable audio player, so you'll be able to see how the VU meters are working here. And let's talk about the sound. As usual, the first part of the review we'll be talking about the bass. So E550 has excellent bass that goes very low and just fills the room. It's fast, it's precise, and it has great authority. I would say it's very similar to the amplifier class bass, but in a positive sense of the composition. So I was surprised how much bass it was able to get from my Martin Logan XT B100 speakers. I had no idea that it's possible for them to go as low as with this amplifier. And it doesn't cheat with mid bass. Yes, it's slightly warm, but it doesn't use mid bass as a filler, masking some problems. Honestly, I would wish that all the amplifiers that I test had that kind of clean, powerful bass. Test track here would be Supercut by Lord. There is a very distinct, very nice bass line in the background that with proper amplifier, with the proper source, will just fill the room and it will not overpower the rest of the sound. This is one of the tracks that I'm using to test bass because it allows me to distinct the clear bass from the muddy bass, and I highly recommend the song. It's a very nice song. I really like that track. Moving on to mid-range. Mid-range has that clarity too. Vocals in choral parts of Baba Yetu are detailed, full of emotion, and what's important, like with the best amplifiers I've tested, you can hear distinct voices in choir. That's very important, and that means that the mid-range is very clear and detailed. Male voices have throaty, organic texture. They are not smooth, but rough like they should be. But the nicest thing about the mid-range is this amp's ability to convey emotion. Halsey sings Sorry, and if you're listening to this track, it really makes you feel she really is sorry. I know it sounds cheesy, but this is the track that I'm using to test the ability of the amplifier for conveying emotion in the mid-range, and very few amplifiers are able to do that. The track is not super technically recorded, but Halsey is changing the tempo of her voice, of the words, and some of the amplifiers are able to get the emotion right, especially in the middle part of the song. Now moving on to rest of the description. So Treble has great clarity and transparency. It's airy and it's extended, and this works excellent with that deep bass. The deep, very deep and clear bass and the airy extended treble are complementing each other in a very nice way. There is no sibilance, no listening fatigue. Treble is detailed, but I wouldn't call it analytical. So far so good, right? Well, the detail is also very good with this amplifier. All small things in This Is Halloween from Tim Burton's movie soundtrack are there. Voices in the back, voices on the sides, sounds in the background. I really enjoyed taking a dive and hunting for small things in this track. Moving on to scene and imaging. The image is not the largest, not the deepest I've heard. I would say it's proper, meaning left and right are good, even very good, though they are not very wide. It doesn't extend the sound well beyond the speakers. The sound comes from beyond the speakers, but it's not like you would be hearing sounds from totally left or totally right side. Instead of that, the sounds, if they are very wide, they are coming from, I would say, something like 50 centimeters away from the speakers, which is still very good, but it's not the widest amplifier that I've heard. Okay. Depth info is here, but the image is not very deep, and though we have sound layers, they are rather close. We do not have that very deep spatial sound. You can hear that some things are closer to you, that some things are further in the background, but the layers are quite close one to each other. The image itself, the center image, is clear. There is air and space between instruments, but they are not very sharply drawn. The edges seem to be a little bit fuzzy. As I've said, the center image is very good. Interestingly, the higher the volume, the wider the scene gets. The lower the volume, the smaller the image, like it would be collapsing. So this amplifier likes to play loud, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. Now, before we will get into electrostats, we will be moving now to the section when I'm checking amplifier with my Martin Logan Ascent 1 electrostats. Before we will move to electrostats, a small surprise first. Outlon M10. Outlon M10 are those monsters. These really big guys. So, I'm getting ready to review those, testing them with different amplifiers, and pairing with E550 is just excellent. That was a complete accident and complete surprise. The scale, the authority, but also musicality and vocals quality are off the charts with this particular pairing. These boys like to play loud, the speakers, and E550 loves that too. So you just sit there grinning and turning the volume up beyond reasonable levels. Now, as far as the Ascents go, well, that's another great pairing. Ascents, my electrostats, are imaging demons, so they help E550 using the superpower, and image gets wider and deeper. Interestingly, I was able to get even louder with this combo. And of course, E550 has no problems driving them. The official specification says that it's able to drive speakers between 2 and 16 ohms, and I can confirm because my electrostats are dropping down to 1.2 ohms in the treble. So this amplifier had no problems in driving my electrostats, and moreover it's scaled up nicely, gaining some more detail in the process. With that out of the way, let's get to the summary, but before we talk about the summary, I wanted to show you one thing. I wanted to show you a specification from the offer. What I was going to talk about are input impedances, and that's it. You can see everything here. You can also see that it's quite heavy. It's 21 kilograms, and it goes slightly on the left side because both trafos are on the left side. Yeah, so about I just realized that I should probably show you that in the beginning of the video. So moving on to the summary. It's glowing review so far, but there are some things that have to be said. The first one is volume control, this guy. It's either too low or too loud, especially with XLR inputs. What I mean by that are two things. The first one, the remote control has some kind of lag, meaning that between the pressing on the button and the time it reacts, you have, I don't know, 0.1, 0.2 seconds, meaning that it starts moving right after the press. And once it starts moving, as you can see, I'm not able to move it less than this range. That's kind of a problem because the volume control is usable with my speakers between minimum and 1.5. That's the full range. Once we get to 2 or more, we have already set the volume too high, meaning that the rest of the scale is completely useless and not used. This amplifier has a very high gain. Probably the combination of the preamplifier and the power amplifier results in a very high gain. So, the first thing, if you're using XLRs, that's all the scale for the volume control you will be getting. With RCA inputs, you'll be able to go almost as high as to 3, but that's still something like 30% of the scale. Yeah, that's the first two problems: lag on the remote control volume and the small usable range for the volume control. Now, the second thing that needs to be said is that the magic happens with the volume. This means that if you have a sensitive speakers, you won't go loud and the scene will be small. But if your speakers are hard to drive, you're at home, because this amplifier will be your friend. If you have hard to drive speakers, you'll be able to go louder. This means that the scene will get pumped. It will be higher, deeper and wider, and you'll also have a lot of more air between instruments. Yeah, as you can see with the volume control on 3, you can actually see the real movement here, and that's quite a lot to get to half of the scale only on 3. Yeah, and that 5 would be way too loud to listen in my home. Yeah, so let's move it like that, and let's get back to my list. The third thing that I need to talk about is the set of tone controls. These are very nice to have, and you can tune the sound to your liking with them. They are working very nicely. They are quite good quality tone controls, but they are using NE5552, and NE5552 is not the cleanest operational amplifier, meaning that, and that's actually described in the specification, meaning that if you will engage the tone controls, the signal to noise ratio drops from 125 decibels to 118 decibels, and you can actually hear that with speakers as good as my electrostats, because bypassing tone controls gives you immediate step up in the clarity and transparency. It's not very big, but it's not something that you will miss. Just pushing that button will change the speaker output, the sound quality for better. So that's the third thing that I needed to mention here. And as I've said earlier, I would probably go with replacing this operation amplifier with something of better quality. Actually, I would place a deep 8 socket there and just test a couple of operational amplifiers. But I'm pretty sure that replacing that NE5552 with, for example, OPA 828, double set of them in deep 8 adapter, would improve the clarity when using tone controls. Of course, if you're pure audio lover, you will bypass them anyway, so that's not a problem. Now, the fourth thing on my list is that this is not the amplifier for quiet listening. It's the same thing connected with the volume control. Yes, it does sound good. I would even say that with the high volume, it sounds extraordinary. But with the lower volumes, you will get the smaller scene, less air, so to get the best of this amplifier, you would probably go louder, meaning that it's not the best for the very quiet music listening. But as I've said, if your speakers are not highly sensitive, or if you just love louder sound, this is excellent amplifier. As I've said, magic happens with the volume. Now, I've checked all my speakers and there were no bad pairings. Literally, I've checked all the speaker pairs that I have around the house, the ones that I have here and the ones that I have in the lower part of my apartment. I would say that's something, I know I'm weird, but it's something like 12 pairs of speakers altogether at the moment. And there were no bad pairings. But the speakers with lower sensitivity allowed me to use higher volume levels. You may want to use RCAs rather than XLRs, as with lower input level you may go louder with the amplifier. So this is the rare case when I was preferring to use RCAs over XLRs, because using RCAs allowed me to go higher on the scale, getting the scene wider, deeper and better overall. If your source is, for example, digital to analog converter with volume control, you may also think about lowering the input signal level by lowering the volume on the digital to analog converter. But that usually comes with lower resolution, so in all cases we want to have our input signal level as high as possible. So all in all, I really like this amplifier, and it's the best integrated amplifier I've tested so far. So it will push Gryphon Taboo clone down the list of my recommendations. And remember, Gryphon clone is also great amplifier, but this one is clearly better. But it does have its quirks. There are some areas that can be improved when it comes to functionality. Having said that, when it comes to pure sound quality, it's really good. I really love the pairing with Big Outlaws. I really love the pairing with Martin Logan Ascent 1 speakers. It's clear, it's transparent, it's detailed, it has absolutely stunning bass, and it has very good, very well extended treble. So it works together to give you the very good sound quality, but you have to remember that it likes to be played loud. And that's it. I love the amplifier. It will crash my recommendation list immediately. I hope you like that review. Again, all the links in the video description. If there will be anything to add, if there will be any kind of info that will come from your comments, I will also update the description. And the description will have the full set of details on my test system that I was using during this review. Actually, before that review, during my listening sessions. So, thanks for watching. I hope you'll have a wonderful day ahead of you. And if you like that little video, you're more than welcome to subscribe my channel and to support my channel by buying me a beer using beer link that's also in the video description, or just super thanks button in the YouTube video. Thank you guys, and see you next time. It's really magnificent.